During the survey of the Book of Ruth, my name is Robert Corah. nativemi.org is where you'll be able to find it, as well as on threefeathersministry.com. Notes, PowerPoints, videos will be provided to any Native church. Thank you, Dr. Richard Constanza. Now, the title of the book, of course, is Ruth, named after the central figure. Human writer of the book is unknown. The date of the writing of the book is approximately 1400 BC to 1030 BC. So Ruth lived during an era of Judges, Ruth 1:1. It took place approximately 200 years after the war between Moab and Israel, described in Judges 3:12-30. Perhaps approximately 1126 to 1105 BC. The book begins in Moab and then shifts to Bethlehem. Here is a interesting facts chart of the book of Ruth, which you're welcome to stop and explore. But you'll notice Ruth begins in Israel, then goes to a foreign land. There her husband dies. And one of the two daughter-in-laws, after their husband dies, return with her to Israel. Now, she's a Moabitess. She's the widow of Mahlon, son of Naomi. Had a great love for Naomi, a convert to the Hebrew faith. So we see two people. The idea behind this is she needs a kinsman redeemer. She transfers this right to her daughter-in-law. Now, Ruth leaves her homeland to live with her widowed Jewish mother-in-law in Bethlehem. Naomi, Ruth's mother-in-law, Boaz, a prosperous farmer in Bethlehem, and a relative to Naomi. There she would glean from his fields. He would notice her. And Ruth became excited, told her to go ahead and to lie down at his feet. And this would get her noticed. And so the story continues. A kinsman redeemer was a relative who redeemed, purchased a piece of property. Now the theme is redemption, especially as it relates to kinsman redeemer. A key verse, a statement that Ruth, a Gentile, made to her mother-in-law, Naomi, a Jew, is found in Ruth 1:16. And Ruth said, "Entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after you. For whither you go, I will go, and where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God." Now, the book of Ruth is a beautiful love story set in the period of Judges in Israel, a time marked by immorality, idolatry, and war. God had instructed the Israelites that if a married man died without having a son, the man's unmarried brother was to marry the widow. Deuteronomy 25, verse 5. The first son born to the woman and brother was to be given the name of the dead brother. This has been called a Levirate marriage, from levar, the Latin word for brother-in-law. The purpose was to preserve the name of the family and the name of the deceased brother, and to make provision for his widow. God had instructed the Israelites that if someone became poor and wanted to sell some possessions or property, the nearest relative was to buy back the items or land. This person was known as a kinsman redeemer. To be qualified as a kinsman redeemer, several things had to be true. 1, the person had to be a legitimate, close relative. 2, the person had to be able to pay the price to redeem the land, eliminating any debt and poverty of the person selling the land. 3, the person had to be willing to protect and support any family members. 4, the person had to be willing to marry a widow if she was the one selling the property. Now, here are the Old Testament qualifications: must be a blood relation, must have necessary resources, must have a willingness to buy. Jesus Christ is our kinsman redeemer of all ages. Now, the book of Ruth may be divided into two sections: Ruth's love demonstrated toward her mother-in-law, Ruth's love rewarded by a husband. Now, homework: watch the video using your QR code and camera to watch a 7-minute video. Here are the list of all the homework items, and this gives you a recapitulation of each book. This is nativemi.org, robertdecora@gmail.com. Please feel free to use all the resources. You could go to Right Now Media, Native Ministries International, or Three Feathers Ministry to obtain all the Bible studies that are associated with the survey of the Old Testament.